Oh hey YouTube, today we're going to talk about my Centipede machine. This is a very special game to me. I got it in my hometown for a really good price. It wasn't actually working when I picked it up, and it was a bit more complicated than I was expecting to get it fixed. It seemed like a really simple problem at first. So without wasting too much time, let's just get right into it. And here it is. Arrived safely. Centipede. So now that it's arrived safely at my house, we will open everything up, give it a nice once over. Brookie's gonna help me clean it up. As you can see, it's pretty grimy. Nice coating of nicotine all around. That artwork's gonna clean up real nice. And now that it's out, we can finally start poking around and see what's inside. This machine hasn't really had any maintenance done to it ever. It hasn't been turned on since 2006. And oh my goodness.
Ew.
Yeah. Some classic cobwebs in here. Wow. Yep. This one's gonna clean up good. Everything is really, it's like a time capsule in here. Like nothing has been touched at all.
Paper.
Yeah. The manual here. Real cool. I wanted to get a look at in the other side there.
Grody.
Yeah, because inside the coin door was where I spotted something earlier.
Moolah.
There's just a big bag of old shake in there. This is like the leftovers from when you're trimming weed. This is all the garbage left over. I don't know why this is inside this machine. But okay. We'll just set that aside for now. And then some extra parts in here for whatnot. Joystick. Interesting to find a joystick in here. So I don't know what these parts are for, but this is not a joystick game, so okay. We'll investigate that later. Let's get to work cleaning this thing up. Nobody's been in here for flying ants came out of there. I sucked them up. Nobody's been in here for a very, very long time, guys. See just how dusty everything is. It's gonna take a bit of work to get this thing cleaned up. Looking good. I'm able to open up the control panel and have a look in here now. And yeah. It's been a while, you know? That's alright. We're gonna get her looking good in no time. Now we're finally clean enough to get a good look inside here. You can see down the power supply we've got this original gigantic big blue capacitor. Those are pretty prone for failure. We'll be swapping that out. Probably going to be rebuilding the audio amplifier here. And here's the main logic board. And it's real nice and clean. So because this machine hasn't been turned on for, gosh, like 18 years, I'm not too confident in that power supply right now. So when we do go to plug this in, I'm going to disconnect the game board and test voltages before I send power to this board, just to be safe. And when we get to a point where I'm comfortable turning everything on and testing it out, we'll see what we've got here. You see this here? I just love stuff like this because, I mean, this never got removed. It just shows, you know, what a cool little slice of history this machine is. Just, nobody's really been in here since it left the factory. Okay, so now that the machine is in my home, we can start to poke around and see what we've got for power. So what I've done, I've disconnected the power from the game board and I have unplugged the monitor. So we should be getting sound at the audio board, and we should be getting sound, or we should also be getting some power to the marquee up top. Maybe to the lights, if those are still working. So what I intend to do here is plug it in, and then I'll just be testing for power here at the edge connector. And how I do that is I've consulted the manual just to find what the pin outs are. So looks like the top pin here is ground, 5 volt, 12 volt, -5. Then over here you've got 22, -22. So I'm just going to take my trusty Princess Auto multimeter here, and I'm going to switch it to 20 volts DC, and I'm going to test for 5 volts, 12 volts, -5, and we're going to see what we get. Okay, so here goes nothing. This machine has not been powered on for a long time, since about 2006 is what I've heard. So here goes. Sketchy looking plug. So this is a little safety switch to make sure nobody gets electrocuted when the door is open when an operator is working on it, and to bypass this we can simply pull it out. So I heard a click. What I heard was the coin doors twitch there. See that? Those are little solenoids that are designed to prevent people from slipping coins into the machine when it's powered off. So looks like that is getting power. That's good. Down here at the power supply, I don't know, we should have some lights on or something, but we don't have anything right now, so that's all well and good. And looks like up at the marquee, have we got any power up there? The bulb could be out. We don't know if that works or not. Moving on. Let's test our voltage right here at the edge connector. So I just wanted to try and capture on video that we do indeed have our voltages we're looking for. Okay. Got our 5 volts there. 5's a little high. So we do have our 5 volts. We do have our minus 5 volts. We do have our 12 volts. Hard to capture it all on camera while I'm holding these things all together. But trust me, we have something. So based on that, I'm pretty confident that I can put the power back on this board. It's now turned off, so never plug your board in, obviously, when your machine is powered on. Let's see, I'm going to need a screw here. Someone's taking that screw out of there. We'll get to that. Okay, board's got power. I'm going to plug in the monitor. And this is our tests here. So this will be the first time this game's had power since 2006. Alright everyone, so let's see how she goes. We got a light. Anything? I didn't hear. We got. Have light. Oh, I see something happening. I do see something happening there. Oh, look at that. Oh man, we have something. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time since 2006, We have got Centipede here, people. That is not too shabby. That is not too shabby. Credits too, so it might be on free play already. There it is. That's it. The trackball is all screwed up. But we work. Yeah, look at that. Trackball's rolling backwards. All right. We're in business here. So I guess the first step is going to be taking apart the trackball and see if we can't get that working. That's really all that's wrong with it right now. Can you believe that? It's probably the best conditioned Centipede I've ever seen. All it needs is a new light bulb and new overlay and a little bit of love on the trackball. Okay, so now that we've got this thing in and powered up and looking it over, it looks like we're in really lucky shape. Like really lucky. I only see two real issues with it. The trackball, no matter which way you spin it, it turns to the right, and light bulb's out. So those are two pretty easy problems for us to kind of troubleshoot and tackle. And I think an easy place to start is to just take a look at the marquee light and see if we can't figure out why the lamp's not coming on. That's a nice easy one. Anyone who's getting an arcade machine home for the first time, there's a pretty good chance that light's going to be burnt out. It's really easy to swap it out, so let's take a look at what goes into taking that apart. So to get into your marquee, usually you've just got a handful of screws up here. Sometimes they are security Torx, and sometimes they're just your standard Torx. Sometimes they're just Phillips. Looks like in the Centipede cabinets we've got Torx. 3 screws are out. This just comes right up. And just be careful because your marquee might fall out at that point. Out. The marquee should nice and easily come up. You might end up having to, oh yeah, loosens up. It's a little bit tight down there. But she's coming. Yeah. Alright. Oh look. I think I know why the light bulb's not working. Hold on a moment. So we got ourselves a brand new bulb right here. Just a F15 T8 18-inch. Cool white. The cool white really makes the colors pop on these, so that's what I like to go with. A lot of the time replacing the bulb isn't going to be the only issue. As you can see, this has a spot for a starter. Now your newer ballasts all have the starter built into them, so sometimes it can be tough to find a starter. However, I happen to have one right down here. FS2. So let's see. Let's see if it wants to come to life. Oh, ho, ho, ho. It's just that simple. What a beautiful thing. I can throw this right back where it came from. And that is fix number 1, guys. Easy peasy. What a beautiful, oh, look at those colors. Wow. That is cool. I'll just get these screws back on. Good. All right, one problem down. Here's another issue. Light bulbs are out on the coin doors. That's an easy one too. I have some replacement LEDs that I'll just throw in here. Stay tuned. And now to swap out these light bulbs here. It's proper way to do it would be to remove this screw right there. But I mean, it's kind of a pain in the butt. I like to just bend it up out of the way. And the light bulb you see is like a pop and twist. So pops in. Oof. Twists out. Like so. To replace this, pretty burnt out, yeah. To replace that, they now make modern day LED replacements. Way more reliable, more power efficient. Probably never have to look at it again. So we'll just pop in a couple of those and see how that looks. Here's the new LED bulbs. And there you go.
Dad, we saw Bernie the rocking.
Cool! Look, I got the light bulbs working.
Ooh.
So
I didn't know they were not working here.
lights are on. Lights are on. Screen warms up real slow because it is over 40 years old and all original parts, but it does slowly come to life.
Can I try?
You can try, but the trackball is not working great.
What the?
Once you get over there, you're stuck. Good try, good try. Okay. So we've spent maybe 10 minutes on this machine so far. We are almost playable. All that's left is the trackball. We'll fix it soon. So the light's working now. The next problem we're having is the trackball. You spin it left or right, your character moves to the right. And once you get there, you're stuck. Up and down works, right works, but left goes to the right. Why would that be? Well, we're going to take it apart and we're going to find out why. So to get access into these control panels, usually the way to get to it is inside the coin door. There will be, you see this as a safety switch, so when I opened it, everything powers off. Inside the coin door, there are these latches, which you probably cannot see without any light source. Basically, you reach up in there with your hand, and you feel around, and thankfully, you have already cleared out all the cobwebs, so there it is. These ones are tight. Opens up, flips right down, and there's your access.
She likes to eat the couch and the bar stool, and there's been many times she reaches her hand into the top drawer and pulls out our toothbrush.
So I got it all back together, and now while I was in here I actually decided to swap the vertical and horizontal chips, and I swapped the wires just to test that out. And so what's interesting about that was I was theorizing that if the problem was with the trackball, with the encoders, that if I swapped the horizontal and vertical, that the problem would follow that swap. So because it was struggling going left and only going right, I figured if I put that into the vertical axis instead, it should only go up or down. But the problem did not follow these boards, which tells me that the trackball is fine. Because as you can see, I can go up and down just fine. But I can go right, I cannot go left. Left goes right, no matter what I do. And we know that because we've swapped these, that the problem is somewhere that way. So next, I guess the next step would be just to test the wiring and figure out why left and right is both behaving the same way. So we're a couple days later here now, and I've been chasing down this problem with the trackball. You see we've got the game up in test mode here, where you can test the inputs. And you can see I can go up and down, I can go to the right, but when I go left, it still goes to the right. So there's no way to go left. Initially I thought this was a trackball problem, but I've taken this apart, cleaned it, tested it. The trackball's fine, the wiring is fine. So after doing a bit of research, what could end up being the issue is there is a chip on the board which is responsible for interpreting the input. And this chip, it's hard to see in the dark here, but it's already been replaced. It's socketed. So someone has been in here once before, and they have replaced that chip. And they were very kind to leave it in a socket so that I can now replace that very easily without having to do any soldering work at all. So I've gone down to my favorite trusty Lee's Electronics in Vancouver. I gave them a visit today. Got some extra sockets just in case, and I picked up some new ICs. 4584s, Hex Schmidt triggers. So, without any further ado, let's pop that bad boy in and see if that fixes our problem. We've got the flash on now, so it's a bit easier to see. So first thing I want to do, of course, is cut the power. LED is off. No power to the board. And where's this chip I'm talking about, huh? I reckon that's our chip right there. EF11. Now to verify that this is what is controlling input from the trackball, I'm going to pop this off. For now, I'm going to run the game without that chip in place, just in test mode. And theoretically that should give us an unresponsive trackball without that chip in place. And that should more or less confirm that is a part of the problem. Okay, so we have functionality, the test screen is working. We have no control with the trackball. I think that's a good sign. We're getting close. Power off. That's the chip we just pulled out, which is not what I was expecting to see in there. Usually expect to see one of these. Yeah. 4584. A couple of bent legs on this one. You know what? I'm gonna use a better looking one. Because I bought 5 of them for $1 each. I thought may as well get enough to last me a very long time. All right, there we go. New chip. Ooh, careful not to bend it. There we go. Installed. New chip. Good to go. Well, watch for smoke. No smoke. Is it going to burn up on me? It's not hot. Good. Question. Do we have movement? We have right, we have down, we have up. We don't have left. Darn it. It wasn't that one. There's one other thing now that it could be. That's the other guy right next to it. This guy right here. This should be the same chip as this, and I suspect this one's never been replaced, but this one did fail. So I suspect this one has now failed as well. Unfortunately, that means we got to get our hands dirty and pull the board out and do some soldering. That's okay. All right, folks, here's our here's our Centipede motherboard, PCB, whatever you want to call it, logic board, and our chip in question here. Let's find it again, right up here. This is the one we swapped out to no change, and this one right to the left of it, right over here. On the schematics, this is the same chip. So basically one of them, I believe, controls trackball input, and the other one is used for clock logic and function. And it could be either one of these that is causing problems with my trackball. And as you can see, this one has been replaced before I replaced it. This one never was. So if these were both the same chips from the factory and this one failed, maybe this one's failed by now too. So we're gonna desolder this one, and we're gonna put a socket on like this and throw on a new chip and see how that goes. I had a hard time holding my camera to desolder that chip, but as you can see, it's off now. I just used my trusty old solder sucker here. Yeah, that guy. So next I will just take, where are they there? Take one of these sockets here, and that'll just go right where the old one came out of. And these sockets are great because they just make maintenance down the road a lot easier. So if this chip ever fails again, there will be no soldering required. But this time we'll solder it. Alright, who's ready for the ultimate test? Got the new chip soldered on, the board is all hooked up, everything's plugged in, wired up. We are going to try this. I don't know if I fixed it or not. Let's find out. Let's get this out. Ready, on. It's not burning. It's not hot. Alright, we have down, we have up, we have right, we still don't have left. Disappointing. Alright folks, another crazy idea here. One more day has passed. I've gone to my favorite Lee's Electronics in Vancouver one more time. Found one other chip in here that is related to your trackball inputs, and this is what is this? Says D11. Yes. Oh, look at that! I've just impaled myself on an IC. Ouch. Oof. Okay, that's sweat, blood, and tears that goes into this hobby. You know what I mean? Anyway, so. What I've discovered is when I run the machine without that chip in, as you see, I've taken it out. When I run the machine without that in, this is the first time firing the bad boy on today, so bear with us as this ancient monitor comes to life. I'll be rebuilding it one day, but it's still working fine for now. Really very, very little I have to complain about. Needs some adjusting, but it's perfectly usable for now. So, without that chip in, look at the inputs I get here. Now when I go right, it goes left. And when I go left, it goes left. Now when I go up, it goes up. And when I go down, it also goes up. So isn't that interesting? Almost as if that chip is responsible. It's called a flip-flop. Look, I don't know a whole lot about these things, okay? This is a triggered flip-flop with clear. That's what this chip does. And to me, it seems to be flip-flopping the controls. So... without that chip, I still am getting a hard time going, yeah, my left and right is still screwed up, but without that chip now my up and down is screwed up too. So my theory is maybe this chip is responsible for just interpreting the input it's getting and then just making it work as expected. So my theory is maybe half of that chip had stopped working. Or maybe there's another one of them somewhere. But that's my theory. So what we're going to do right now, right here, right now, with you, keeping me company, we're going to pop that in. We're going to see what it does. Machine off. Good. This is all happening in real time, people. Now, since I leaned on these, let's see if I can find one that I didn't bend the legs on too badly. This is why I always buy lots of these things. They're cheap. These are like $1.20 a piece from Lee's Electronics. And if you order them online, you can get them cheaper, but I like supporting Lee's, and I like being able to go to a store and just buy it right now. So I'm willing to pay a few extra cents for such a convenience. So, I don't know if you can see the writing on there. These are 74 LS74. That's what we want here. Again, going on to D11. Make sure we've got our orientation right. Should snap right in gently. I just want to make sure you're not forcing these things. They do have delicate, brittle little legs. Which, there we go. Okay. Did that fix it? What do you think? Let's find out. Fingers crossed. Let's try what we know already. We have right, we have up, we have down, left is still backwards. Well, dang it, I'm running out of ideas, guys. I'm going to have to start checking the wiring harness. To be continued. Another couple days has passed. We're checking in on Centipede again. And this machine has just been absolutely kicking my ass. I've got to be honest. I have been on all the forums. I've replaced a ton of ICs. I've tested this PCB up and down. I've tested the trackball, all the wiring, and just... I've been through the ringer with this thing, guys. And I've almost gotten nowhere. There is a serious problem on the horizontal circuit of the trackball input. And like you saw before, going right works and going left also goes right. This seemed like such a simple problem. This seemed like something I could fix so easy. I just thought this was a simple wiring issue or something. But it's an issue with the down on the logic level of the circuit board. And I've followed and tested and replaced virtually every component on the horizontal input circuit, and nothing has changed. And so I was getting pretty frustrated. And I started just kind of kicking around some crazy ideas. And it occurred to me that Centipede did come in a couple of different form factors, and there was a cocktail machine Centipede where you would sit down and face each other, and it would have two inputs. Like each player would have their own trackball, and you would take turns, and the screen would flip between players when it was your turn. Like you've seen the cocktail machines. And those run off the same circuit board. There's just a way to switch the circuit board from a stand-up mode to a cocktail mode. So that really made me start thinking, okay, this circuit board does have the capacity to run two trackballs. It has two separate inputs. So what have I tried hooking this trackball up to player 2's inputs and switch the game to cocktail mode just to see what happens. So I did that. And you let player 1 die, and then the screen flips around, and it's player 2's turn. And it still had the exact same problem on the horizontal circuit. It could only go one way. Even player 2 is affected by this problem, and I don't know why. I can't figure it out. But we do have a working vertical circuit for player 1 and a working vertical circuit for player 2. So for these trackballs to work, you need vertical and horizontal, and that's just how they interpret the data, and you need those two data lines, vertical, horizontal. And I know the horizontal is not working for either player. But my crazy idea is, what if I hook player 1's horizontal and run it through player 2's vertical circuit, and then just before that information gets sent to the CPU, I hijack that signal and apply it to player 1 horizontal. So what I've done, I've just taken the pins from the trackball where it connects to the circuit board, and I've removed them from player 1 horizontal, and I wired them into the pins for player 2 vertical. So now, when I move up and down on the trackball, I'm player 1 up and down. When I move left to right on the trackball, I'm player 2 up and down. So we start a game. Player 1. Up and down. Perfect. Works great. I have no side to side because that's wired into player 2 right now. So if we die, watch me die as quickly as I can without being able to move very much. Come on. Come on. There we go. Now we're flipping around player 2. Now left and right on my trackball is going to move me up and down. You see that? I died very quickly that time. So isn't that something? What we've done here is I have found a circuit that is working as intended for my left and right inputs. Right now it's not moving the way I want it to, but I know it's moving up and down. It's not stuck like the horizontal one was. That is something. My next step is to hijack this signal, apply it so it's just purely running player 1 horizontal, even though it's going through player 2's circuit on the board. We're going to take that signal just before it goes into the CPU, and we're going to trick it into thinking it's player 1 horizontal. Is that a fix? Technically, yes and no. The problem the machine was having is still happening, but the symptoms are gone. Is it a super hacky repair? Absolutely. Will anybody ever know the difference? Absolutely not. So, let's see if it works. I fixed Centipede.
Slay.
Yeah, it works. I thought you'd be more excited. And there we have it. Centipede is fixed. So as we discovered, the problem ended up being a bad IC in LS257, which was located at L9 on the PCB. And that's just kind of the last step in the trackball control circuit before it goes into the data bus. So we really ended up following that sucker all the way through to the very end. And it was basically the last component in the chain of command before getting fed into the processor and all that stuff. Yeah, that one was a doozy, but man, that's pretty satisfying right there. You can see it's just finally working like a dream, and that's just what we should see on the test screen. So now there's really nothing left to do but take it out of test mode and give her a whirl. So let me go grab my tripod and we'll play some Centipede. Alright, well, I am not the best Centipede player, but now that I have it in my house, hope to get a chance to practice and improve and see how she goes. got me. Every time, that guy. Right? I hate that. 2 right in a row like that. I love that extra free life sound. It's pretty satisfying. That's when things really start getting pretty frantic here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh man. This is too much. It just gets so crazy. Well, good thing I got that extra guy. That's it. Not my best, but we got the top score, which just kind of highlights another issue, is that the top 3 high scores should save on this machine, but they're not, so every time I turn it off, that gets wiped out anyway. So that just kind of alludes into the next video, where I'm going to be doing the next step now that everything's working. We'll try and get to the bottom of getting the high scores to save. And I think we're probably going to end up replacing this control panel overlay as well. So we're not quite done with Centipede, but it's looking pretty good. It's working pretty good. It's really cool having it in the arcade room here with the rest of them. So yeah, pretty cool. Alright, well that should about do it for this video. That's pretty much all I have to say about Centipede for now. If you like what you saw, stick around because I'm always kind of screwing around with these machines. Next in the pipeline is a Atari Space Duel, which was more or less Asteroids 3. It's a very cool 80s color vector monitor game, which is something new to me. I haven't had a chance to work on a vector monitor yet, so I'm really looking forward to picking that up. I'm getting it from the same guy, actually, that I grabbed the Centipede from back in my hometown on the Sunshine Coast. So next time I'm visiting some family, I'll bring out the van, pick up another machine, and have a new interesting video for you guys to check it out. Alright? If you like what you see, do all the YouTube things. If not, whatever. See ya!